Welcome back. We are live once again. No, the Cabal did not get me, Kevin. I am here. We are here to discuss the constant, non-stop, ever-progressing market manipulation in this hobby. Whatever you want to call it too, right? The market manipulation, buyouts, just whatever phrase people come up with. It was kind of like the whole scalping thing. Like, are you a flipper? Are you a scalper? Whatever it is, you're bad for the hobby, right? Whenever prices go up, it's bad. Whenever people buy things, it's bad. The only thing that's good is when things are worthless and they become game pieces and everyone can have, a million of them a piece. But at that point, no one wants any of them because they're worthless. But that's the only time the hobby can be good, is when everything's going down, everything's worthless, and everyone can buy it for pennies, right? If anything other than that happens, there's got to be something wrong. We got to investigate it. Someone's doing something, nefarious behind the scenes, right? And guys, I don't know how to even counter it anymore. I don't know how to argue against it. It's so ludicrous at this point that, I honestly just don't think there is a way to ever talk sense into this market, right? I mean, era after era, card after card, set after set, it seems like it doesn't matter what happens, when it happens, or by how much. There's always going to be people coming out with a reason for every move. Every time anything ever goes up, someone's got some like weird conspiratorial reason behind it, right? Like, these buyouts are happening. People are manipulating the market. They're taking advantage of the supply. They're whatever it may be. And I'm going to try my best to explain a lot of the moves happening around the market, because people comment in my videos and they're like, Alex, you have to admit this is a buyout. This is manipulated. I'm like, no, I'm not going to admit that. So I figured I would just make a video today and give you the counter arguments against the whole buyout, manipulation argument, and at least allow people to see it from other angles. And even if you don't believe me, and even if you don't agree with me after all this, that's fine. We don't have to agree, but at least take in the other side of the argument so it can at least play into your decision-making in the future and not just kind of jump on the train of like, oh yeah, it went up quickly, it's got to be manipulated. It's like, well, things happen quickly in hobbies, hobbies aren't like, massively traded, funds or stocks or indexes that are traded by like huge conglomerates with hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars. And so they move very slow with the averages and indexes over time. That's not what Pokemon is. It's a collectibles hobby. There are going to be quick movements, right? It's not going to just be this nice 5-10% over time. It's not how this works. And I think that's what kind of trips people up. And so anything out of the ordinary, any spikes, it's the easiest way to kind of, explain it is, oh yeah, manipulation. Oh yeah, buyout. Obviously, it's got to be a buyout. And so we're going to get into some of that. I'm going to let some people kind of filter in here. I'll see who's in here first. We'll kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this. And then I'll take some questions at the end, because I also had some negative responses to my video yesterday, the Roaring Kitty video about the diversification and things like that. So I'll also respond to some of those comments and take anyone's questions they had on that, because with any video I make, everything's going to get misconstrued. The thing with YouTube is, people they'll hone in on one thing you say, and they'll jump to all these conclusions, and they'll start typing, and they'll forget to even listen to the rest of the video or anything else you're saying, because they're so busy with that thought, typing out their response, trying to get that gotcha moment, like, oh, I got him now. And and then obviously there's always those people who are like, way over conservative and super safe, and any mention of ever taking any risk at all, they're so risk averse. Like, oh, Alex, I don't like this, man. I don't like this. This seems really risky. You're telling people to take a risk in Pokemon, which is already a risky asset. I don't know, Alex. I think I'm just gonna stick with my money market, my annuity funds, and I don't even want to put it in the stock market. Even indexes are a little freak me out. I don't know. They move and stuff. I don't like movement, and so I'm going to try to respond to some of that craziness too. But who we got? We got Brett in the chat as always. We got Coolest Shot, Alex. Brett says, time to get lucky. Yeah, that's another thing, right? The luck never ends. It's so weird. I haven't won the lottery, and I've bought lottery tickets, right? I've played scratch offs in my life. I've never, got crazy lucky on those. I won $100 a couple of times. I've been to the casino. I've never got like ultra lucky. I mean, I've made, thousands of dollars in nights, but I used to play pretty heavily too, but never got extremely lucky. I just think everything out throughout my life, I don't feel that lucky, but somehow that all changes when it comes to Pokemon. Like the luck just gets compounded every day, every year. And I don't know, just so lucky, man. Just crazy. It's all it's about is luck. Kai Z, always with the goat, man. I appreciate it, dude. Let's see. Monday market manipulation. Let's go. Oh, it's every day, man. We're just talking about it Monday. It's every single day. Anytime something goes up, just know it's manipulated in some way. Some way. Does anybody work anymore? Nah, man. We're all here talking Pokemon. You don't need work. We got Pokemon. What do you mean? Violent Wood Squirrel made it back. Give up the Easter eggs. Oh, we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it. DJ Collector's in here. What is up, my man? How late are you? No, you're right on time, buddy. You're right on time. Let's see what we got. Don't we want the dumb money and haters in the hobby? Oh, they'll be there. Don't worry. Not many people tune into these streams. We may get 100 to 200 people in here. Don't worry, man. There's tons of dummies out there still for all of us to take advantage of. It's fine. It's fine. Because that's what we all do here. We all just take advantage of people, all right? That's what we're told. Because remember, no one actually likes this stuff. No one actually collects this stuff. And the only reason all of us are here is because there's a financial interest. Again, that's what I'm told. I'm just repeating what I've been told and what's been drilled into my head so many times from all the people in this community. So yeah, I'm just going to repeat it. That's why we're here. I think modern collectors are really into it and starting to look back over to vintage. I tried on eBay auctions 5 times and lost every single one weekend. Very competitive. Interesting. Matt, you haven't missed anything. I like all your content usually asked, but your last one, here we go. Here, Matt, right here. Your last one about pointlessly diversifying should have been a real eye-opener for a lot of people. Keep up the good work. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into it. I'm going to talk more about that later when I get into questions, because I do want to dive in on that, Matt, but thank you. He loved the good old faithful buyouts manipulation. I know. What do you think about the TikTok shop sales? I grabbed some BBs. Yeah, guys, TikTok is, while they're throwing those marketing dollars out there, you can take advantage of it. Odds are 99% of the time, if you're buying from a trusted store that's got a lot of reviews, it's a real product. They're not fake products. They're not, scamming. It's just TikTok is footing the bill with marketing dollars. That's how you're able to get it so cheap. So it's not one of those like too good to be true type things. It's too good to be true because TikTok is giving the money away. It's not the seller taking the hit. So yeah, you can find great deals on TikTok right now. Oh, here's that Simon guy. Just wanted to follow up my comment in your video. My comment was, please don't talk financial markets. I love your take on Pokemon. It gives me escapism from Wall Street. Oh, okay, man. I thought that was more about trying to say like I'm out of my depth when it comes to this financial markets or something. I'm definitely not like I definitely not like on the level of like a Wall Street analyst who like dives into it every day nonstop, but I know a good amount about the financial markets as well, dude. So that's why I didn't know what your comment meant, but that makes a little more sense. Like you just don't even want to hear about it. I get it. Yeah, TikTok stuff. TikTok stuff's good right now, guys. All right, I'm not going to take all this right now. I'm going to take questions at the end, but let me just jump into a little bit. Okay, so you guys saw the thumbnail. I threw kind of a little bit of everything in a thumbnail, right? So we have like the Japanese market right now with the 151 and other sets. We've got the singles popping off. We've got, Scarlet Violet and other, booster boxes, cases and things popping off as well. And it seems the one thing consistent with every product in every market, in any month of the year, there's always one consistent, and that is it's always explained with manipulation or buyouts. Every time. Every single time. And not everyone's guilty, but there's always people, and if it's not like YouTubers, it's people in their comment section, it's people in Discords. The one constant we can agree on, people are always going to try to blame it on buyouts and manipulation. It doesn't matter what it is. So, and here's the funny part about it, right? So when, 151 Japanese was rising, right? And it was going to 100, 120, 140, 160. It was all like, everything was good, right? So everyone was agreeing that, and this was pretty widely agreed upon by the, and look, we're always talking generalities. I know there's always one-off people that say, nope, I called it. Maybe you did, but in general, everyone was pretty much in agreement that, no, this set's just so good. The demand's too high. The supply's too low. Everyone loves it. And that's why the price is rising higher, higher, higher. You better get in. Well, now that we've had reprints, right? Now people are starting to jump on that bandwagon of, well, no, the market was just manipulated. It shouldn't have been that high. It was just manipulated. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't just change your whole way of thinking after a reprint happens and say, oh, no, it was obviously manipulated. No, you were the same person that said it was going up because it was so popular, right? Now, jump to the English side of things, right? The booster box cases. Honestly, you could have talked to so many bears in this hobby, right? And all of them would have told you the same thing, right? Scarlet Violet era. No one likes it, right? No one likes these new Pokemon. This is nowhere near the alt art sets. The pull rates are too easy. Even in Sword and Shield, this is way overprinted, way more than Sun and Moon or XY. There's too much of this stuff. Everyone's doing it. There's way too much of it to go around. It's not going to go up. It's just too much, okay? As soon as it does go up, those same people all say, this is all being manipulated. Well, hold on a second. How can you have too much product to go around? There's too much of it. Everyone's hoarding it, but it's going up because it's manipulated. Do you see a conflict there? And then a lot of the bears also say, everyone's just in this for the money. I know you've heard this, right? I get it in my comments. Go read my comment sections. If the money wasn't here, half of you guys wouldn't even be in this hobby. You wouldn't even be here, right? Your only reason you're in Pokemon is because of the money. And I'm like, okay, so if that's true, then why is it when all these sets go up 50, 100+ %, why is everyone not taking their profits if the only reason they're here is for the money? Why would you still see 50 and 100 Umbreon VMAXs total on the market in PSA 10 when we're always reminded of it when there's 11,000 graded? Why is less than 0.5% of the entire items on the market after the card just went up 100% if everyone's just here for the quick tendies and the money? Where are they? Where are they at? Does everyone just think they're going to always go to the moon? Like, why is everyone not taking their profits when these things happen? The cards that are jumping up right now in Scarlet and Violet, I'm going to get into those, right? The Chi-Yu, the Altaria, Groudon, the Raging Bolt. Why are we not seeing influxes of them, like by the mass, hundreds of them enter the market near mint and PSA 10 if everyone's just here for the money and no one wants these things, no one actually wants to collect them? Do you see how many inconsistencies there are there? Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have, there's way too many out there and nobody likes it. And then when it goes up, it's all just manipulation. Everyone's just here for the money, right? You can't have it both ways. And that's like the issue with everyone says. So I'm going to start out with going through a couple things. All right. So first off, Latios. We all heard it last year. Guys, if you don't believe me, if you weren't here in this hobby, go find people's YouTube videos. Go look for Latios team up in the title. People were calling this manipulated last year, all through this time period, right? This is February to June 2023. There were, especially up in this range, go look at May and June, July 2023. You'll find tons of people talking about this card and team up and all this stuff being manipulated. The tag teams are manipulated. The waifus are manipulated. Okay. So, a card going from 900 to 2,600 in a PSA 10. I agree. It seems manipulated, right? And then it crashed. We're told it crashed, right? Now, look, that's a huge fallback, but it also was a huge rise. Now, it did settle in the 15 to 1600s, which is still 60, 70% gain from where it was before the uptick, okay? Now it's actually recovering, and it's not to its all-time highs, but it's getting back to near its all-time highs. So let me get this straight. Something that was only up because it was manipulated Didn't even crash. It fell back. It gave some money back. Some people took profits because it got so high, which happens in every market, which I'm going to get to in a second. Happens in every market. So if Pokemon's manipulated, you have to agree that every single market, anything you can invest in the entire world is manipulated. But we'll get to that. It settled at a much higher high, a 60 to 70% higher high, and now it's running again. Well, if everyone agreed that it was manipulated up here, why would it run back near those prices, near those manipulation highs? Right? Also, everyone always wants, all the people, the holier than thou people always want to look out for the little guy. Well, Alex, what about the people who bought in at 22, 2600, 2400? They did lose money. If you buy into something when it's already went up 100 or 200%, you're taking a gamble, my friend. You will most likely lose money or be down at some point if you buy in after the uptick, right? If you're buying in look at this. Look how much time you had to buy in for the last whole year. 750, 800, 850, 900, 925, 910. You could have bought this card for a year when it was stable. Even if you wanted to start buying it on the way up, right? Buy it at 900, buy it at 14, 13, 12, 11, buy it up in there. But no, people don't want to do that. They just want to complain that someone bought in at 2600 and they lost money. But everyone else made money, right? Because they got in at the right time. Same thing with the Umbreon, right? Well, it's like, oh, well, Alex, it got manipulated from 630 to 1300. Huge manipulation. Well, then why did it only fall to 860? Why didn't it fall all the way back to 600? Why did it continue to stay stable and then rise and see all-time highs now? Oh, well, we're in another manipulation phase. Man, there's sure a lot of manipulation in this hobby, isn't there? Right? Booster boxes. Why, if Team Up was all manipulated and everything's manipulated, why hasn't it crashed? Why hasn't the box crashed? If Evolving Skies is so manipulated, why hasn't the box crashed? Why hasn't it crashed if it's so manipulated? Okay. Now, let's get into the financial market. Simon, sorry, man. I got to talk about him for a second. I know you don't like me to. Tesla. So if we're to believe Pokemon's all manipulated, then you have to believe every market is, right? So that means, okay, if you would have got into Tesla anywhere up here, anywhere into the spike, right? Well, first we got to feel sorry for the people because they bought in after the stock went from $15 up to $400. We got to feel sorry for them because they bought in at $400, right? What do you mean? You're going to get crushed in any market if you buy in after that amount of hype. Like sometimes you got to realize I missed the play. I got to move on to Scarlet and Violet. I got to move on to the next thing, right? You missed the play. Same thing with Tesla. But, right? Are we going to say that Tesla was manipulated because it made it up to 330 and then dropped all the way down to 120? This is way worse than anything we see in Pokemon. We didn't see any of the alt arts. We didn't see the tag teams. We didn't see the waifus. We haven't seen any modern booster boxes drop. What is this? High threes, $400 all the way into the low ones. That's almost 75% loss. Where are we seeing that in Pokemon? Where are we seeing that? We're not. Guess Tesla's just manipulated. AMD. They compete with NVIDIA. If you guys don't know who they are, they make microchips. This is one of the heaviest traded stocks on Wall Street. Okay? Meaning, all the biggest funds, the biggest firms, the most money, the $1 trillion hedge funds, all of their attention is always on this stock, right? And they're battling back and forth, short sellers and buyers alike, right? Puts and calls. Everyone is trading this stock. It's one of the most actively traded stocks on the market. So now you're saying one of the most actively traded stocks in the market is all just manipulated, right? Well, how can there be all these shares and all these people eyes on it every single day and it be that manipulated? Well, it went from 150 a share and dropped all the way to 60. So it dropped, in a third. Must all be manipulated. Then it ran back up. I mean, you can look at Home Depot. How is Home Depot? How is a stock that has nothing to do with technology, nothing to do with, all the Elon Musk stuff, just Home Depot? Well, it ran up to 400 and dropped all the way down to 280, or it must be manipulated. Look, it had a run up from 280 to 400, back to 280. It's a pump and dump. That's a pump and dump. If it happened in Pokemon, people would be calling it a pump and dump. All right, gold, right? Well, when gold ran up from the 2000s all the way up, from 500 to 2000s, that was manipulation because it dropped back down to 1,000, but now it's back to all-time highs. Silver pumped up, dropped down. Guys, it's every single market this happens in. Every single market. And so to try to act like Pokemon is somehow protected in their own little bubble, like it's not going to have ups and downs in items because interest comes and interest goes, or people see a play and then it goes away, and think that anytime anything moves, it's just a financial game manipulation tactic. It's ridiculous to think that, okay? I just want to throw that out there first. Now, let me respond to some of the comments I got in my video about buyouts. right? Here's some cards we've been talking about lately, right? All these guys, I'm sure these all look familiar. Buyouts. Everything is explained with a buyout nowadays, right? So Umbreon VMAX Trainer Gallery, in a couple months, it goes from $20 to $60 and then drops back down and stabilizes in the 40s or 50s, right? So everyone's first knee-jerk reaction is, Alex, it was bought out. You cannot say that wasn't bought out. What's a buyout? All right. For me, what I would consider a buyout is a person or a group of people, right? The cabal, right? We're caballing. We're all cabal members. A person or group of people get a good amount of finances together and then target a card and say, we are going to buy every single copy that's out on the market. And we're going to keep buying it to raise the price and then dump it, right? That's a buyout. And I would expect that to happen in a single day or 2 days or something like that. Okay. So first off, this happened over the course of like a month. So it doesn't really fit the definition of a buyout in my opinion. Now you're going to say, well, Alex, then why did this happen? How could this happen? Well, let's take a look. Again, you don't have to agree with me. I just want to give you the other side of the argument so you're well informed. All right. So let's look at the dates here. April 23rd to 25th. And then it got to its highs May 8th to May 10th, right? So about a week and a half there. Okay. Well, what was happening during that time? Well, let's go look at the Umbreon VMAX alt art. Okay. April 23rd. So right in here, right? April 23rd, May 5th, May 12th. So this is when the Umbreon VMAX alt art was reaching its all-time highs of $800-900. So ask yourself, is it all manipulation? Or could it be that a lot of people all at once decided, you know what? I can't afford an $800, $900, $1,000 card, but I really want to collect an Umbreon from Sword and Shield. This is the next best option. I'm going to go get the Umbreon Trainer Gallery from Brilliant Stars. And guess what? The timeline checks out. And that's the time where this had its biggest rise, is when this had already started to top out and got too expensive for most people. Could that be a reason? Again, just the other side of the argument. All right, lately there's been run-ups on Scarlet and Violet cards. We see the Chi-Yu absolutely blasting off. We see the Altaria absolutely blasting off. We've seen the Groudon absolutely blasting off. And again, knee-jerk reaction. Alex, it's a targeted buyout. It has to be. It's got to be a buyout. Could be. It did happen quickly. It does fit that kind of rule I look for all in a couple days. Okay. So what we're going to look for now, though, is it's holding. People are paying that. Okay. So if it does drop off really quickly, it could be obviously construed as a buyout. Altaria is the same way, though. Okay. Groudon's the same way. What do all these cards have in common? Well, one, this is a very sought after card. Two, these are the top rarities. These are the top rarities of this era. Could it be that everyone's money and attention were all on Sword and Shield, alt arts and trainer galleries and booster boxes because they all saw them as undervalued? And now, in the same time frame that those plays and all those cards have kind of got to their tops, they're starting to peak, they're starting to stabilize, stagnate, and drop. Could it be that everyone, not coordinated at all, but everyone as a whole, because this hobby, people in general move like sheep? Could it be that everyone as a whole finally stopped listening to this rhetoric of Scarlet Violet era sucks, all these cards, no one likes the new Pokemon, no one wants these sets? Could it be that now people are finally starting to realize, you know what? Sword and Shield's too expensive. I missed my chance. I don't want to spend this much. Hey, you know what? These guys are wrong. These cards are actually really awesome. A lot of these are very undervalued. These are SIRs. These are top illustrations. I want to get in before they go up. Could that be a reason that's pushing all of these up quickly? Could that be a reason why we're seeing these moves? Just saying. I mean, you can't look at Altaria. You can't look at that card and say it's not a great card. I mean, can you really look at me and say, Alex, I don't think people should pay $40 for that card? Are you kidding me? Should we go look at XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and see what $40 gets you? And then can we compare it to that card in an SIR? Does that make sense to be worth $40? It does to me. And so, like, guys, the only thing I'm trying to show you here is there's literally a rebuttal to all of the manipulation and buyout arguments. There's always going to be a rebuttal, right? There's not always going to be a definite one way or definite the other. Last thing I wanted to mention, I'll take some questions, we'll get into it, is my video from yesterday, right? The whole Roaring Kitty, Roaring Kitty came back. If you guys don't know who that is, they made a movie about it, the Dumb Money movie. But, a few years ago during the COVID stuff, it's when GameStop went to the moon, right? He was kind of the ringleader behind that. He was the one that, I mean, I assume was the first, like, from what I know, he was the first one that saw that play, saw there was too much short interest in the company, saw that it was overly beat up, made the first play, started making videos about why he made the play, posting it to Wall Street Bets, and kind of created a roar. After it started to move, a lot more people would jump on board. And then it became this whole, like, hedge funds were starting to get in trouble. And so it became this whole, like, the little guys versus the, the big bad hedge funds, the system. And it just drew more and more money in, more and more people in. Dave Portnoy, was famously one of the people that jumped on board and started promoting it. And it just became this big giant thing, but he made millions and millions of dollars off of it. So, he came back, made a live stream, which had 630,000 people in at one point, live. 630 live viewers. Sorry, 630,000, which is like unheard of. Like, no one gets that. Network television doesn't get that. 630,000 people showed up to hear what this guy had to say. And I did watch some of it, and he did reveal his portfolio, and he had literally two holdings. It was GameStop stock and GameStop options. That was all he was holding. And he explained that, a lot of the times throughout his career, he would only have a few holdings or one holding, because he would, he would have conviction and bet on that. And you know what's funny? If you go listen to Warren Buffett talk, he'll tell you he doesn't hold all kinds of stocks. And maybe they do now. They never bet on all kinds of stocks. He always had 3, 5, 7 stocks that he really believed in, that he had huge holdings in, right? And if you go listen to anyone in other industries, real estate, people do not diversify out, like overly diversified to where no matter what happens, their portfolio barely moves, right? Now, if you're older, near retirement age, or have acquired a large amount of wealth, that's when you want to diversify. People diversify to protect their wealth. They don't diversify to build wealth. You're not going to build wealth quickly diversifying. It's impossible. The whole point of diversifying is to limit your downside risk, but to do that, you're also limiting your upside potential, meaning you're never really going to lose a lot, but you're never really going to make a lot. So really, if you're signing up for this overly diverse portfolio, you're just saying, hey, I'm going to work the next 40, 50 years of my life and be diligent with it. And then I'm going to have enough money, when I'm 80 years old to enjoy 5 years of my life before I die type thing. And so the whole point of the video was to make the point that, hey, I understand a level of diversity is smart. But my whole thing was, most people are already diversified outside of collectibles. You're already in stocks. You're already maybe in real estate if you own a house or just have other real estate. You're already in maybe crypto, maybe no matter what, you're already usually diversified. Most people I talk to, everyone I've talked to has a 401k or a Roth IRA. Maybe they own a home. Maybe they have some rental properties. You're already diverse. That's diversification. So my point was, when it comes to collectibles, this is already another diversified part of your portfolio. There's no reason to get crazy diversified in collectibles, right? You don't need to have 1,000 different collectible products, right? It actually might make sense to just go after the ones that have seen the best track record, that are the most stable, that are the most liquid, that have seen, that are the easiest to attain. And so I think some people took it out of context, and they were like making comments. I mean, we can go through. I can pull up the video right now, and you guys can just see what I'm talking about, because that'd probably be the best way. Because I always get that too. Alex, shut up. No one's leaving negative comments. No one's ever hating on you. Blah blah blah. I mean, guys, it happens. Like I don't know why that's like a thing where like it's weird to tell people that. Obviously, everyone's got people that disagree with them. I don't know why that's like a weird thing to say, but no, we can just go read some of them, and I just want to kind of respond to it better than I could in a comment section. So here was the video from yesterday. Pokemon investing lessons from Roaring Kitty. And guys, the reason I do this, I want to be real about it, right? I want to answer for things that I've said. I want to respond to you guys. I don't want to just like blow it off or like, think I'm like above anyone. Like, look, we're all doing the same thing here. I just happen to be the one on camera. You guys are chatting or leaving comments. We're the same, right? So I just want to respond and clear up anything that people might have misconstrued. So let's see if I can find a couple of them. Let's see. Can I sort these by, yeah, newest first. All right. All right. This is from Blue Controller 123. This is probably the most irresponsible video you've put out so far. Telling people that diversifying doesn't work. Telling people that rich people are only rich because they won the lottery. and that they too should bet it all at 17. It's extremely dangerous. Then again, sincerely hope no one is coming here for actual financial advice, right? They always like to throw that little shot at me at the end, like think it like hurts me. No. So again, this is one of those times where I'm talking about if they would have watched the whole video. I said in the video, diversifying works if you want to be diligent and invest every single month in the same things that are safe, like index funds, mutual funds, and do that for 30 to 40 years. You will acquire wealth. You will be able to retire, depending on what income you need, how much you invested. You'll be able to retire comfortably if you've done the math right. And it works, right? And then also, I've said that you protect your wealth by diversifying. The issue is no one gets, you don't become wealthy, especially in a course less than 30, 40 years, if you're not taking some level of risk. But some people are just very risk averse. And so anytime you discuss anything outside like the nice, stable, no risk type things, they get really scared. They cringe up and like, "Ooh, Alex, I don't know. That seems pretty risky." Yeah, you know what? Life's risky, right? You could walk up the sidewalk, get hit by a bus. Don't walk, right? Just don't walk. Don't leave your house. Live in a protective bubble if you're afraid of every little bit of risk. Yes, there's going to be risk involved. But my whole point of that video was, if you have conviction about something, you have belief in yourself and the research you've done, the past data, your past track record on plays you have or haven't made and how they performed, and just go for it once in a while, right? It's I'm not saying bet the farm on it, but I'm saying go a little heavier than you normally do, because odds are, if you've had a good track record, it's probably going to continue to do well for you, especially in this hobby. If you know what you're doing in this hobby, you can actually beat the normal realized gains of other places. Let's see. All right, so here's Pokey J. He was challenging me a bit on different videos I've made, right? Where again, any like one phrases taken out of context can obviously, get you confused. So he goes, "I sit on cash and wait for a play to come." Yep, I've said that. "Waiting on Dragon Set, Team Rocket Set." Folks, stop looking to the future. Yep, I've said that. "The coherency of these videos is starting to take a fumble. I'm not a set picker. I diversify. Wait now, we don't diversify." Never said that. Okay, so what he was hitting on was when the whole video was about not diversifying as much, taking more chances. I said in that video, I don't overly diversify, right? Overly being the key word. I do invest in every set because no, I don't have a high conviction of any of these sets performing better than the other, right? I could say, yeah, I think Temporal, Paldea, Paradox is most likely going to perform better than like base set, Obsidian, and other. Yeah, I do believe that. So I'm getting more cases, but I'm not just getting zero of the others because I don't know. You never know when certain cards might pop off. Certain things might not get a reprint. Certain things might, for whatever reason, you just don't know. I've seen it happen, right? I could have never told you that Forbidden Light was going to outperform Burning Shadows, right? I could have never told you Furious Fist was going to outperform Breakthrough or Evolutions. I couldn't have told you that. So that's why I say I'm not smart enough to be a perfect set picker, right? I couldn't have told you that, right now we'd have like Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign crushing sets like Lost Origin, right? Or Brilliant Stars. I couldn't have told you that, right? I mean, a lot of people could have told you Evolving Skies, but that's a one thing. And so I like to diversify when it comes to booster boxes. My whole point here was to not overly diversify, not think, because a lot of people, they're afraid of getting too large position in one thing, right? I'll get comments, I'll get like messages sent to me. They're like, "Alex, I've already got a case or two cases of this set. What do you think I should get next? Should I get some PC ETBs? Should I get some 3-pack blisters or bundles? Or what else do you think I should get?" I'm like, why do you want it? I'll say like, why do you want something else? Like, well, I just want to make sure I have a diversified. Like, why? Why are you trying to diversify? Now, look, if you find crazy deals, I get it. If you're like, "Hey, Alex, TikTok's running this deal," or "Hey, Alex, this seller is blowing out booster bundles at this price," or "They're blowing out 3-pack blisters." I get that. What I'm saying, again, generalities here. If we're talking everything at market price, we're not talking about finding special deals or like when the market's out of whack and things like that. We're just saying right at market price. Why would you diversify at market price on anything else? Why? We've seen it proven time and time again, era after era. Booster boxes perform the best. They're the most liquid. They're what the most people want, right? So why would you actively try to go out and get something besides booster boxes if they're all market price? right? It doesn't make sense to diversify in that perspective. Now, when it comes to, again, diversifying, you're already in other markets most likely too. You're probably not all in Pokemon. You're already diversified with your money. You don't need to diversify even further in collectibles. All right. And then what else is it? Oh yeah, stop looking to the future. So holding on to cash because you don't see any like specific play right at this exact time. And so you're just kind of waiting for anything to open up, maybe something to drop, maybe a sale to come, maybe, you know, you find a card that you think is undervalued, you've done some more research. That is completely different than saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this set to come in a year. I'm so excited for this. And it's like forgetting to enjoy or look for plays in anything that we have now because you're just saving up for this mythological set that might come. Guess what? Maybe the set sucks. Maybe it's a very small set. Maybe it's a specialty set, Team Rocket. Maybe they overprint it. There's a million things that could happen. That was my point, is don't dwell on the future and forget to live in the present. So PokeJ, that kind of clears up what I was trying to say. You know, and I understand when you take these one-liners from a bunch of different videos, you can kind of make your own conclusion and try to like have that gotcha moment. But again, I'm not trying to tell people not to diversify. It's not diversify too much where you have such a large net cast that even when things go up, you don't make money, right? The perfect example of this would be like a roulette table. I've played roulette with friends at the casino, and they literally have so many bets out there that they can't win. Have you been with someone like this? Like they'll bet like, you know, 20 numbers. They'll have money on black. They'll have money on a section. They'll have money on like odd. And I'm like, dude, you literally can't win. Like even if the perfect number hits, you're going to make like $8 and you have like 40 out there. And they're just like, well, I just want to make sure. Like, no, dude, you're overly diversified. You'd be better off just betting one number 40 times, right? Or you'd be better off just betting like 10 numbers 40. And that's how we are in collectibles. It's like you don't need to have 1,000 different products, right? You don't need to buy every card, right? Go after the ones that you see the most potential in. Go after the products you see the most potential in, or you get the best deal on. But don't get in this habit of thinking, ooh, I'm worried. I have too many of this. I need to diversify out more. It's like, why? Do you not believe in it anymore? Well, no, I just don't want to have. Why? Why is it then? There's got to be a better reason than just getting like cold feet that you have too much of something. There has to be a better reason on why you don't want more of that. Maybe the price rose too much. Well, Alex, the booster boxes are already this much. I think these are undervalued. Great. That's a reason to diversify, right? Or, you know, Alex, I don't want to buy any more of the set because it's already risen in value. Great. That's a reason to not, you know, buy more and diversify somewhere else into a new set, right? Those are real reasons. Just not buying more because you have too much and you feel like you need other products. It's a terrible reason. Terrible reason. Let's see what else we have on here. Oh yeah, Chug Nasty. He made that Cabal video a while ago. So he said, doo-doo take, guys, put question mark. He said, too much to put in a comment. I just don't agree with this one. Maybe next one though. It's not as much that I didn't agree with that you feel I didn't agree with you. Rather, I feel like you have been saying for years, just buy sealed product. Doesn't matter what it is, because all sealed product is good to buy and it's all going up. Now in this video, it sounds like you're saying to buy booster boxes of certain sets. Maybe I'm wrong in my interpretation or misunderstood. Well, no, it's just different rates, right? And so like Evolving Skies is a perfect example. Yeah, all the sealed products going up, but booster boxes outperformed the ETBs, the 3-pack blisters, the tins, all that. It all went up though. It all went up. It's just at different rates. And so what I'm saying is, why not put your money in the thing that's going to go up at the fastest rate, the largest amount, that's the most liquid, the most sought after. So that's the point, Shug Nasty. Like it's why go somewhere else. And there's a bunch of comments like this. So I just wanted to go through some of them to like try to clear up some of the things I was saying, where it's not that I'm backtracking. It's not that I'm changing any of my thoughts in the past. It's just reading between the lines and understanding that all of the statements can be true in their own way. Like just because you say like don't over diversify, it doesn't mean don't diversify at all, right? Just because I said sealed product goes up doesn't mean that all of it's going to go up at the same exact rate and any of it's exactly fine to buy. It doesn't matter what, right? There's going to be better ones. There's going to be worse performers. That's how it always is. And so that's kind of the whole point of this video. I've been going for 40 minutes. I'm going to take some questions now. But the whole point of this, guys, is don't freak out just because things rise in value, because people are telling you it went up too fast. It's got to be manipulated. Oh, there were, 20 sold yesterday. That has to be a buyout. Why? Why does it have to be a buyout? Maybe some YouTuber, some idiot like me made a video saying, I just like the card. And then people saw it and they said, you know what? I like the card too. It's not that they're saying, oh, Alex is doing it, so I'm going to do it. I got to follow Alex. No, we're not saying that, right? We're saying that people just forget about things, or they haven't been exposed to it, or maybe they're newer to the hobby, whatever it may be. And they're like, oh, wow, that is an awesome card. Oh, wow, it is only $10. It's only $15. It's a top hit. It would take how many packs to open that? That is undervalued. I do want to buy that. And it takes a very small amount of people in terms of the broad hobby to actually want something to move the price. It doesn't have to be a buyout. Same thing with market manipulation. Guys, these markets are going to move rapidly until the end of time, right? It doesn't mean everything's manipulation. You are always going to see 20, 30, 50, 100% moves on cards in the matter of a week or a month's term forever. You're going to see it in Scarlet Violet. You're going to see it in the next era and the era after that. It doesn't mean everyone's just here for the money. It doesn't mean everything's manipulation. It just means the masses all start to do things at the same time, because some people see opportunity, they get in early. Other people see things moving, so they want to jump in on the bandwagon because they want to get a piece of it. Other people see things after they've moved and say, oh my gosh, it's so high, but it might go higher, so I want to have this in my collection for long term, and they get in. Now, maybe that's the wrong reason. Maybe they get crushed because they got in too late, but that's why they're buying. It doesn't mean they're all like, say they're all getting together and saying, let's buy it out. So that's all it is, guys. Let's see what you guys say in the comments. I really want to kind of go back and forth in the comments with you guys, because I'm sure there's going to be some, back and forth here. And I just want to clear things up. I want to be here to explain myself. If you guys have anything that you think I'm, explaining wrong, or my takes are wrong, I just want to hear it, right? No hate or nothing, just like honest conversation. So let's see. Where are we going to start at? I'm going to start right. Let's see. Where am I going to? I'm going to start with Pokey NE. He's saying, what's up, fam? We got Brian in the house. We got some YouTube royalty in the house today. Oh, man. Brian is having a kid, if you guys didn't know, which is really awesome, man. Congrats to you guys. It's going to be a fun time. If you're not busy enough, I told you, you're going to be busy now. All right. The fact is the Pokemon is looked at as as fringe. So that stops people from wanting to get in. Personally, I'm happy about it. It makes the market smaller. Yeah, and that's the other reason why things move quickly is the market's smaller, and not even a large amount of money, just a decent amount of money can move the market very quickly, right? And so when it takes, large hedge funds and huge conglomerate companies to move, stock markets, right? Or it takes a large, huge population of retail traders on Wall Street bets and things like that, all moving a stock. It doesn't take near that much to move Pokemon cards. So that's why another reason you'll see Pokemon move so rapidly. Can some of those manipulators get Japanese stuff back up, please? Trying to get rich. Dude, Japanese, man, it's just, Brian, you know this, dude. This is exactly what happened in 2021 in English, right? Is we're coming off the back of the pandemic, right? The demand is coming down, and then Pokemon throws all these reprints at the market right at the wrong time, right? They start throwing Hidden Fates reprints and Shining Fates and Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage and all the Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike. They throw all these reprints at the market right when demand's coming down to its lowest point it's been in the last year or two. That's exactly what's happening with Japanese, man. It's like the demand fell off, the waifu craze, the everything to the moon kind of came down. People are starting to, they're not putting as much money in. They're starting to, some are leaving the Japanese side. And then that's the point when Japan says, you know what? Let's just throw everything we have at the market now. Let's reprint everything when demand's at its lowest. And it's going to take time for that to level out, in my opinion. It's probably going to take another year or so. Just because it's just, I don't know why Pokemon does it. They reprint stuff at the absolute worst time they could possibly do it. So that's what I think is going on with Japanese. Can we get a TCG player buyout Steam Siege again? That was not my idea. That was all Eli. Don't put me in that. If it was me, I'd want to buy out sealed product. I'm down if you guys want to do that. I could really care less about singles. If you guys want to get on stream and all of us start buying out XY and Sun and Moon sealed boxes, I'm down. Let's do it. Spectral Dave. All right. Manipulated market. In this hobby always seem conspiratorial. However, your video showing the massive spikes in recent SV cards did seem weird to me. Literally straight up, not gradual in any way. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a symptom of all of the plays running out in Sword and Shield at the same time. All of the alt arts and all of the trainer galleries and all of the boxes all sort of stopped moving all at once, right? They all kind of leveled out. Some started to give some money back. Like we're seeing the Umbreon drop a good 10, 20%. We saw the Rarity drop 20% or so. We're starting to see all of these cards level out and stagnate. And so the money's got to go somewhere, right? And so I think a lot of people that had been waiting on Scarlet and Violet because they bought into the trash rhetoric that no one likes it. It's overprinted. It's, no one likes the new Pokemon. They're too easy to hit. This isn't alt art. It's all this same thing. I think all of that just came to a point all at once where, people are taking their profits and they're starting to stop buying that stuff. And they all moved to Scarlet Violet at the same time. And, that's just what these are some of the first cards that are going. I expect it to happen with other cards, right? I expect this to happen with more and more cards from Scarlet Violet Base, Paldea, Obsidian, and Paradox. Just because, it's getting to that point, right? It's just coming. It's just that time. So tired of hearing manipulation this, manipulation that. These are price corrections. Things are undervalued. People are realizing and buying. Why is that so hard? I don't know why it's so hard. I don't know what. And here's the other thing. When things drop, it's always like, you have the bears come out of the woodwork. I told you so. Like, I've already seen it. I've already seen the videos of people showing like Umbreon VMAX or Giratina or some of the trainer, like showing the downward chart and saying, told you guys, it was all manipulated. Like, what are you talking about? Umbreon VMAX alt art was selling for $1,500 to $1,600 in a PSA 10. I'm sure there were some outlier sales. I know Z&G Emporium posted one at like 17. They were realistically selling in $1,500 to $1,600 range. Now they're selling around $1,400, maybe $1,375 to like $1,425. It's like a 10%, maybe 15% correction. When I've said this from the very beginning, when something rises 100%, 100% plus, it's gonna have profit takers. You are going to have things correct because it's just how it works. Nothing goes up forever. And so it's a very normal correction. Just like I showed the chart with the Latios, right? It saw a jump from $900 in a PSA 10 to $2,600. It corrected down to $1,500, $1,600. Now it's back up in the 2000s, right? These are normal market fluctuations. There's no pump and dumps. There's no booms and crashes. It's just collectible markets. This is collectible markets. If this is, and here's the thing, going out to all the people that are worried about the whole, my last video, look, if you're risk averse, and look, I'm pretty conservative these days, but even I'm not that conservative. If you're that risk averse where any movement outside of this like 5, 10, 15% a year, freaks you out, guys, get out of this hobby. Go collect. Just get out of the investment side of this hobby, right? This is not that. You're never going to find that here. You're not going to find this nice, stable index mutual fund hobby here. And anyone that told you that, they're lying, right? This is a speculative hobby. Now, you can find ways to mitigate that speculation by like Pokemon sealed booster boxes, buying them in the 80s and 90s. We haven't seen modern, PK, I see you, man. We haven't seen modern booster boxes ever drop below like the 70s. It may have happened back, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Or not even 10 years ago. That was XY, like 15, 20, 25 years ago. But we don't see modern booster boxes since the new era started, since all this social media, YouTube, all this stuff started, ever drop below the 70s. And so you have sort of a built-in risk with sealed, and you also have a 100% track record, right? Every single sealed booster box has always been worth more over time. Always. Now, different levels of some go up in 2 years, some take 5, whatever. At some point, that booster box is always worth more than $80, $90, $100 every single time. So there's ways to mitigate that risk. But look, if you're a risk-averse person, do not buy singles. I'm just going to tell you, don't buy slabs, don't buy singles, don't screw with that market at all. You're going to be upset because there's going to be times where you make 100%. There's going to be times where you lose 60, 70, 80% on singles. It just happens. But don't get angry and think there's like this big ruse going on that, everything's manipulated because things went up. No, not how it works. How it works is there's millions of people in this hobby, and there's only thousands of these cards of each one to go around, right? Go look at the pop reports, right? The biggest pop reports in this industry, in this whole hobby, are like maybe 10, 20, 30,000 PSA 10s, if that, right? Most of the cards have hundreds and then maybe a few thousand PSA 10s. Even all the alt-arts besides Umbreon have like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 PSA 10s. You have millions of people in this hobby, right? And so there's maybe 5,000 PSA 10s in existence, but there's only like a couple hundred or 150 on the market. It doesn't take many people in this hobby wanting that card to move the price. That's why it happens, right? It doesn't happen because of manipulation. It happens because there's not enough supply for the amount of demand. That's all it is. That is all it is. Playing devil's advocate here. Vintage has stayed stagnant while modern has skyrocketed. It feels like there's something going on with modern that never really happened to go in the past. Yeah, there's more demand. Guys, vintage has such a small amount of demand. Look, I'm a 90s kid. I grew up with base set, jungle, fossil, all WotC. I have no desire to buy any of that stuff. And I know other people my age, other people that are deep in this hobby, I'm not going to mention names, I'm not going to like blow them out, that do not have any desire for vintage anymore. Zero, right? And so vintage has anyone who grew up with it that still just love it. They're lifers. They don't like modern. They like the rarity, the scarcity aspect of it. There's those people. And then there's the few people that do find their way back to vintage after finding the hobby or refining the hobby. There's some people that trickle back, but it's few and far between. Everyone's into modern, right? Most everyone that's, newer to the hobby is in modern. Everyone that's older to the hobby, at least, is usually somewhat into modern, if not into both. And it's just got this is the money. This is where all the Pokemon marketing dollars go. This is the new stuff. It's brand new. The artwork's new and flashy. Everyone wants new. And so that's where all the attention is. That's where the largest majority of this hobby's money is. So that's why you see so much more movement in the modern. And also, you're able to get in at the ground floor. That's the biggest reason. I should have threw that out first. The biggest reason is I don't want to go back and get in at vintage when it's already been pumped up, right? I don't want to go buy cards when they're already thousands of dollars, right? I want to buy cards like Umbreon when it's only a few $100 and then it goes up to $1,000. I want to buy booster boxes when they cost $100 and watch them run like Team Up did to 2,000 plus. I don't want to go buy a box that's already cost 20 grand, right? And again, people always say, well, you couldn't afford it. I can afford it. The amount of sealed boxes I got in my basement, I could go buy I could buy everything from base unlimited, not first edition. I could go buy base unlimited, jungle, fossil first edition. I could go buy a good portion of all that stuff. I don't want to. Why would I want to? Why would I want to get in on something that's already seen the most spike it's probably ever going to see when I can get in at the ground floor of modern where it hasn't even had that time yet? So that's the biggest reason why you see modern moving. It's where the opportunity is. There's very little opportunity in vintage. Yeah, people can no longer afford alt-arts complain. What do you expect? We people who own the cards are happy that the price has skyrocketed. Yeah, so that's the other thing, guys. So I'm gonna pull that up really quick. And I'm sorry, guys. You guys know how this is. I'm always way behind the chat, and so if I'm missing your question, I'm sorry, but I like to do this live so we can actually pull this stuff up and kind of take the question head on. All right. Umbreon VMAX PSA 10. There's 99 listings on the entire market. Okay. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull this up so I make sure I have it right. We're going to make sure we have all of the We're going to make sure we have all the correct information so we're not giving any false info. Because I want you guys to understand a little something about this market. And again, just give that counter to all the people out there that make fun of it. Guys, I get sent the vintage people on Instagram and Discords making fun of modern investors all the time, right? They're saying the same old worn out stuff. There's too many, it's got 11,000 pop report. These people are so stupid. I'd be putting my money into vintage. Or they'll make jokes like, hey, let them keep buying it. I'm busy gobbling up all this vintage. Have fun, bro. You're not making anything. I hope you enjoy it that much because you're not making any money off it because not many people want it. I mean, it just is what it here. All right. This is straight from PSA.com. So we know it's a correct updated pop report. All right. Here it is. 15,000 graded. There's 11,700 PSA 10 Umbreon VMAXs. Okay. 11,700. Okay. There's 99 of them on the market. So we have 11,700 divided by 99. Sorry, other way around. Did it backwards. Divided by 11,700. There is a 0.08, not even 1% of them are on the market. So less than 1%, less than 0.1%. Less than 0.1% of that card is on the market. Mind you, after that card has just doubled, it's just went up 100%. That was a $700 PSA 10 card. Now it sells for $1,400, $1,500, whatever, $1,400 now. It's doubled in price. If everyone's just in this for the money, for the quick flip, for the investment, why wouldn't people be selling that card when it doubled? Why would people still be holding it if we were to believe all the rhetoric that this is all a big pump and dump, it's all manipulation, it's all buyouts? No one actually wants these cards. There's way too many out there. Surely 11,000, 12,000 of a card is too many in a hobby with millions, tens of millions, maybe 100 million people. Surely that's too much. There's only 99 of them on the entire market. You think there'd be more if everyone was just trying to pump and dump it, don't you? Don't you? Maybe. It's kind of weird, isn't it? But no one wants to talk about the supply, right? They just want to talk about the total supply. They don't want to talk about the scarcity on the market, which, yes, that is very scarce. Less than 0.1% is incredibly scarce for a card with 11,000 in existence. No one wants to sell it. They're all holding it. They're all holding it. Scarlet and Violet first 5 sets are better than Sword and Shield's first 5 sets. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a given, right? I mean, I don't know how anyone at this point could really argue that. I think it's pretty obvious that Scarlet and Violet is a much better era than Sword and Shield up to this point, right? Now, it's about to have a huge hurdle to jump over to compete with the Alt Art era, the second half. But up until this point, yeah, it's absolutely knocked it out of the park. It's not even close. Not even close. Pokebeard had made a good point. Lots of these sales have no photos. Do people buy expensive cards without seeing them? Absolutely. I don't list any of my cards usually with photos. Most all of my listings are always going to be stock images unless they're the slabs. So all of my slabs, I take the scans directly from PSA and put them on my listings. All of my singles, they're usually on TCG Player, and a lot of them on eBay. I use a stock image. I don't sell with pictures. And the reason for that is there's a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to take the time to take all the pictures, so it's time consuming, right? Two, I don't want the picky buyer, right? So the buyers out there who want all the pictures, they're going to be the most picky. They're going to be the ones that ask all kinds of questions, waste all kinds of time, and they're the ones that are usually going to complain once they get the card. There's a white speck on that. You said it was near mint. That is near mint, you idiot. You want me to show you a PSA 7? PSA 7's near mint. You want me to show you how many issues are on a PSA 7? Guys, if you are buying a near mint card, there will be whiting. There will be off-centering. There might even be some scratching on the back, right? Maybe on the hollow, there'll be some scratching. That is a near mint card. If you don't believe me, if you get a card, right, and it's got some whiting, it's got some scratching on the hollow, it's off-center, send it into PSA. Do it for yourself. I guarantee it comes back a 7. Guarantee it. If it's not creased or anything, it'll come back a 7. And that's when you'll realize that's near mint. It's just nowadays people have gotten so ridiculous. They think near mint means it's like a PSA 10 copy, and it's just not. So going back to people buying without photos. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, go on TCG Player, like search any card you want. They sell every single day. SIRs, alt arts, trainer galleries, illustration rares, tag teams, XY, like they sell every day. People buy cards near mint. One, They don't want to take the time to search through eBay because it sucks because people don't list their cards correctly. They don't label them correctly. They don't want to look through all the pictures. They just want to buy a near mint copy of that card. Now for card graders or people that want to find a gradable copy, that usually they're not doing it, but you have to remember the biggest piece of advice I can give everyone out there. All right. This is universal advice. All right. This is for any market you're involved in, any business you're involved in. Right. And I tell all my friends this. You need to get out of your own head. You need to stop thinking that everyone out there thinks like you, that everyone out there shops like you, that everyone out there wants the same things you want, right? And some of the real deep, like niche people, and a lot of you are probably in this chat, the real niche people in this hobby, you have this fallacy where you're like, put it this, like a PSA grade. People are really worried about a strong 9 versus a weak 9. A strong 10 versus a weak 10. Guess what? You are the niche of the niche. You are the 0.001% of this hobby. The majority of people, contrary to what you might think or you might think they should do, they just buy the card and they buy the number on the grade. That's it. They're not trying to look at the card and inspect the card and ooh, I don't know, that's a strong 9 there. That's a strong 10. I want that one over this 10. Guess what? 99.999% of people, they're not doing that. The hobby's way bigger than you think. And most people are very surface level. They don't care about the things that you care about. It is what it is. Same thing with the cards. Most of these people, they just buy in the card because they want it. They put it in a binder. Maybe they play it in a deck. Maybe they just want it, whatever it is may be. They're not looking for the things that you're looking for. Same things when it comes to boxes. Same thing when it comes to anything. And, any business you're in, right? Like, a lot of people have a tendency when they get real deep in things to think that everyone thinks the same way they do, right? And the fact is they just don't. A lot of people have so many other things going on in their life. They don't think about all these little nuanced things, right? They're just buying the card they want. They're buying the item they want. It's a reasonable price to them. Maybe they sort a lot of people don't even sort by lowest list. They just go by best match. They find a seller. The picture looks good. The seller looks like it's a legitimate seller. It's got a lot of feedback. They buy it. And then you'll say, why didn't they just sort by lowest list and there's 10 cheaper ones on the market? They didn't want to. And so just get out of your own way. That's my best advice. Get out of your own way. Roaring Kitty coming back was epic. Love how people get pissy for discussing it. Yeah. Here's the thing, man. People just love misery, right? People just love being miserable. They want nothing else to get up in the morning and find some YouTuber's video that they can leave a dirty comment. It's like, and some people aren't like that. Some are like legitimate. And here's the thing, guys. What I like about YouTube is you can click on the person's icon picture, your profile picture, and it shows you all the comments they've ever left on your videos. And I can see some of the people like, oh, okay, yeah, they're actually a fan. They're actually just giving some like constructive criticism. They're actually just having like a intelligent discussion on their thoughts versus my thoughts. And I welcome that. But some of the people, right, you'll click on it. They've had like 3 comments in the whole time I've been on YouTube. And every one of them is just some like derogatory negative thing trying to cut me down. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. It's that person, right? And so it's a little of both, right? There's some people that just love to be negative haters and they'll go to my channel, other channels just to try to like leave dirty stuff. And all you do is laugh at that and you wish the best for them. You hope at some point whatever they're going through in their life, it changes because they're just that miserable, It's sad. It's actually sad. Alex, be the Roaring Kitty of Pokemon. You know what's funny about that? Like not going full Roaring Kitty, like putting the headband on and everything. I actually decided to start being like him. I decided that I'm going to start doing what he did. I'm not even going to try to convince people anymore. I'm not even going to try to like shit. I'm just going to be like, I just like the card. I just like the box, right? I just like Paldea Evolved. I just like these SIRs. I'm not even going to try to like convince people and go back and forth with them in the comments whenever they come at me and say, Alex, you're wrong for this. Hey, that's fine. I could be wrong. I just like it. I mean, I think it's the best thing that guy does, right? I could be wrong. I just like it. That's just, it's because it's so disarming. Like, how do you come back at that? Like, well, you're wrong. Okay, I could be wrong. I just like it. It's almost like the I got lucky thing. Yeah, I just get lucky. I just get lucky. I don't know. I just get lucky. So that's what I've decided. I've decided to take a page out of Roaring Kitty's book, and that's how I'm going to respond to things from now on. Is either I just get lucky, or I just like the card. I just like the box. I just like the set. I don't know. All right, I gotta get ahead. I'm like 30 minutes behind in the chat. All right, guys, if I missed your question, feel free to continue to spam it. I'll get to it. I'm not missing anyone's question on purpose. I'm just trying to scroll through the chat a little bit. So do not hate me for it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's see. What do we got? Joel says, I actually have a sealed case that I got in trade for vintage toys. It's so hard not to pop out at least one booster box. Yeah, the opening, that is, honestly, that's like the hardest thing about sealed investing, but it's also the greatest thing about it because you know that other people are going through that same, like, you know, that same battle with inside them. And you know, a lot of people are going to give in to that. And it just more and more that gets taken away from the market. So a lot of these sealed investors, they actually end up getting high on their own supply type thing, right? It's the number one rule you don't want to do is get high on your own supply. A lot of people do it and they break down, you know, whether it be for a birthday or Christmas or a special occasion or, you know, got a promotion at work, whatever it may be, they reward themselves by opening up some of their own investment. And it's a good thing for us. Less and less available on the market, less people that can actually stand the test of time. Kind of like Rudy always says, all you got to do is be more patient than everyone else and you'll win. I just got to outweight everybody else. What do you think happens when Pokemon continues to grow in popularity year by year, and in 30 years we have the original generation retired with wealth and new generations just coming into money? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing right now. We haven't even seen like the XY and Sun and Moon generations get into the point of their life yet, really, where they're making money and they're having a job and they could start, you know, putting money in this hobby, really, you know, because like, let's say they were all, you know, 8, 10, 12, 14 years old at the time. Well, XY is only 9 or 10 years old. So, you know, they're probably only like maybe 20, 21, 22, maybe something like that. So I think in the next 5, 10 years, we might see another run on Sun and Moon and XY just because a lot of those people are coming into money. And when they get back in the hobby, they're most likely not going to go to vintage. They're most likely probably not going to come to Scarlet. Let's say they get into the hobby next era. They might not come back to Scarlet Violet. They might not come back to Sword and Shield first. They may jump back to XY and Sun and Moon, right? Or just wait till all these kids who grew up with Sword and Shield grow up and they come back to Sword and Shield. So yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of future runs on a lot of these eras when the kids grow up, for sure. For sure. Agent Crypto, always talking Hidden Fates. I love it, man. Is Hidden Fates the most undervalued ETB from Sun and Moon block? I mean, it's got to be, right? It has to be. Shining Legends holding strong at 300. Dragon Majesty, what is it, like still in the 400s? What other set? Is that it? Yeah, I think that's all the specialty sets. There's Detective Pikachu. Yeah, I think that's all the specialty sets. Shining Legends, Dragon Majesty, and Hidden Fates. So yeah, obviously, that is the most undervalued set of Sun and Moon ETBs is Hidden Fates. I agree. I think it's starting to move a little bit, though. XY Sun and Moon promos, I think many of them are underrated. Armor Mewtwo, absolutely. XY promos from Generations boxes, Pikachu, Venusaur, absolutely. The issue is, right, they're impossible to find near mint and gradable. Impossible. And so that's kind of the reasoning why. I mean, I think what happened is, I'll kind of think through this a little bit. I think what happened is people are used to this Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon grading, and even, or not Sun and Moon, Scarlet Violet. Even Scarlet Violet, it's getting harder, but it's still like 50% on a lot of them, 55% 10 rates. Sword and Shield, a lot of those are like 60, 70, 80% 10 rates. So a lot of people have gotten into this mindset that like, I gotta be in PSA 10s, right? Where in XY Sun and Moon, man, 9s are good, 8s are good. like just finding near mint copies in the wild is good because it's harder and harder. Even buying them in TCG Player near mint, you'll get them and you got to return it because it's light play, right? So yeah, I think a lot of those are undervalued for sure. What is available for this Thursday rip and ships? Well, we're definitely doing more pack battles, 100%. We're not cutting those out, and I'm putting stuff together. I'm putting some things together. We'll see. We'll see what we got coming. Did you really see 100% moves in a matter of days back in XY Sun and Moon days? I can't remember. I wish I could give you I wish I could tell you 100% certainty. I can't remember. Because I talked about it before. I wasn't as engaged in the singles market back then as I am now, right? I was a through and through sealed investor, right? I had a job. I didn't spend a lot of my time worrying about all the singles, right? I would just buy. I would always find deals on sealed product. I'd put the sealed product away. I'd sit on it. I played in the sealed market a lot. So I can't answer that question, man. Here it is. I was waiting for it, Anthony. I was waiting for that first reprint message. What sets do you think are primed for a reprint? Figured Paldea 151. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, reprints will come, reprints will go. Don't get too freaked out about it. I think reprints have been just like weaponized in this hobby, right? Like reprints have been so overly dramatized in this hobby that it's comical, right? It's just comical. Like people have like built up reprints to be like this atom bomb, right? This nuclear bomb that just like destroys, decimates everything in the set. Like the boxes go to zero, the singles go to zero, the graded cards go to zero. They don't recover for years. I think people are building up reprints way too large in their head, like way too much, right? Reprints do stunt the growth. They do drop the price, right? But they don't destroy the set. Look at Lost Origin. Look at Silver Tempest. Look at Crown Zenith, right? Look at Brilliant Stars. Look at Fusion Strike. All of these sets had reprints, okay? And so this is why I always say, if you just find these sets and you get in the 80s and 90s, you're usually going to be fine whether reprints come or don't come. If they do come, odds are they're not going to fall as far as what you got in. If they do, you can always dollar cost average. If for some reason some of these sets don't get reprints, you're going to be really happy that you got them, right? You're going to be just like Paldea Evolved. Guys, I could literally sell my cases of Paldea Evolved right now and make like 80% on my money, right? Just because I didn't buy into this whole thing. Like, don't buy anything out of the gate, Alex. You got to wait until the reprints come, right? So SIR, I told you guys another thing. I just got lucky, right? I just got lucky. I have been making videos for months now urging you to buy Scarlet Violet era SIRs and IRs. I've been urging people, buy the Scarlet Violet era special illustration rares. Buy these illustration rares, especially in PSA 10s. They're more scarce than people realize. They're better than people realize. And now we see these run-ups of 50, 100, 100+%. And everyone's like, well, okay, I'll just wait for the reprint. Great, wait for the reprint. They may never even come down as low as where they were when I bought in. And that's the danger of waiting, right? There's benefits to waiting, right? You have capital freed up. And when the reprint does come, you can get in at a lower price. That's great. But don't buy into this overly bearish sentiment over reprints, right? Reprints are a part of the hobby. But there's one thing no one knows. Or a few things. No one knows when reprints are going to come. No one knows how large the reprint is going to be. And no one knows the effect the reprint is going to have, right? Here's the thing, Anthony. How many people right now, first of all, you've seen how fast these markets move. You've seen how fast Evolving Skies went from $400 to $700 a box. You've seen how fast Paldea Evolved went from 90 to 130. You're seeing these spikes in all these singles going from 20 to 40 to $60, right? You've seen the Umbreon VMAX. So you see how fast money can move these markets. Now, let me throw this at you guys. How much money do you think is sitting on the sidelines right now waiting for these reprints? How much money do you think people have bought into this whole mindset of I am not going to touch anything until reprints come? What do you think is going to happen when that reprint comes? What do you think is going to happen? If Paldea Evolve drops to $95 a box, what do you think is going to happen? You are going to see money move into that set like you haven't seen before. My thoughts are it's probably going to rebound back to 110, 120 a box like that, because you're going to have so many people saying, okay, the reprint's here. Now it's time to move in. Now it's safe. Now it's not dead money anymore. And it's going to snap right back up because people are waiting. They're foaming at the mouth, waiting for reprints of 151, of Paldea, of all these sets, so they can jump in and get into it. And no, it's not going to be like the Japanese 151 reprint market, because the Japanese market was in a bubble. I've talked about this. It's the reason why Chilling Reign and Battle Styles and Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze and Shining Fates and all those sets sat stagnant for a year or more at 80 bucks or 30 a UTB. It's because they printed those at the end of the pandemic, at the end of the bubble. It's the same thing Japanese just did at the end of their bubble. They threw tons more boxes on the market at the end of their bubble, and now they're screwed. They have little demand and too much supply. English right now isn't going through that. We're seeing steady demand, meaning if you throw a reprint into a market with steady and good demand, it doesn't crush it, right? It stunts it, it drops it a little, but it doesn't crush it. So I don't expect reprints to hurt this market the way people think it's going to hurt it. And I think people are making a huge mistake thinking that. I have a question about sealed booster boxes. Could you help me with the best place to sell booster boxes? Looking for primarily for cash. Probably Facebook Marketplace, local, or cash. It'd be like there, or like live shows. You know, going to like live shows, trying to make private deals there. Because even like Discords and even Facebook groups and things like that, people are gonna want like Venmo, PayPal, unless they're local. That's a hard one. Probably in person at like shows or like Facebook Marketplace, man. I'm drilling over new rocket set. I know Alex's feelings already about it. I love it, dude. Dude, come on. I never said I didn't like it. I said I like it. I'll go heavy. It's just I'm not about this life of like constantly dwelling on the future, right? When it comes, I'll talk about it. I'll be bullish on it. We'll go hard on it. But right now, I mean, there's other stuff to worry about, man. Like it'll come in due time. Alex, would Evolving Skies booster boxes be a good pickup at these times? Depending for what? For an investment? Right? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, honestly, I can't say no. As crazy as that sounds, I can't say no. I just bought another case. Yes, another case of Evolving Skies. I got it at a bit of a discount, right? I got it under market price, but I paid up for it. I paid if you want to know, I paid in the 3,000s for it. I won't tell you exactly what I paid. I paid in the higher 3,000s for it. And so I paid over $600 a box. So I believe in it, right? We saw what happened with Team Up. We know modern boxes can jump into the thousands and still sell. If any box is going to do that, it's going to be Evolving Skies. Is it risky? Absolutely. It's not for the faint of heart. Do I think it's going to be cheaper in the future? No, I don't. I truly don't. I can honestly tell you, in a year from now, I doubt you're going to find boxes at $700. As long as everything stays normal-ish in the world and the economy and the election and all that, I doubt we'll see it lower than $700 in the future. So that's how I feel about it. But back to that whole risk-averse thing. If you're risk-averse, it's not the play for you. Go buy 7 boxes of the newer sets, right? You have a lot less risk there. Agree with the Japanese take. I'm honestly just going to spend 80% of my profits each month on 151 and see what happens if I go broke. My wife's teacher, we have good benefits. I mean, I'm sure you can't go broke, dude. Like, well, you're still making a profit every time because you're buying it under the market price. So you're good. And honestly, dude, my take on 151, we're getting to the point now where it makes sense. Like, here's the thing, guys. I get taken out of context so much, right? And everyone always wants to jump on me for being a Japanese hater, right? I don't hate Japanese. I don't particularly like it. I don't collect it. I don't invest in it because I don't get enjoyment from it. Okay. But it didn't take a genius to tell people, right? I'm not a genius, but it was pretty easy to tell people, hey guys, don't buy this at 120 when it's been released for 6 months. Hey guys, stop buying this at 140. Hey guys, this is not a good investment at 160. Hey guys, $180 for this box is absolutely insane. You're psychotic. And everyone's like, Alex just hates Japanese. This is the best set ever. No way, no way, no way. And it's like, now when it's like $60 a box, they're like, well, Alex hates Japanese. Look, now it's getting to a reasonable price. Now your risk is getting lower. Now it's not double, triple, quadruple MSRP. So yeah, in the 50s and 60s, it makes a lot more sense to get in for the long term. Do I think it's going to jump back to $200 a box? No, I don't. Now, if that makes me a Japanese hater or just too bearish on Japanese, then so be it. But I don't think it's going to jump back to $200 a box, especially anytime soon, right? The Japanese market's getting a ton of product dumped. It's had a lot of demand leave. It's going to take longer for the supply to get gobbled up and get opened and disappear into collections. And so I think it can rise over time, sure. And I think the price point now is a lot more attractive for an investment. But things change, guys. Like, I don't really know how to put this. Like, I don't know. Like, Paldea Evolved right now. I'm not telling people to buy Paldea Evolved at 130 a box. I was so bullish on Paldea Evolved. Guys, you go look at my channel. I had multiple videos urging people. I was telling them Paldea Evolved is the best set so far in this era. I'd be buying Paldea Evolved at 540 a case, at 560, 570 a case. This is a great pickup. This is a great set. Things change. I'm not saying it now when they're 130 a box and they're almost a year old and they could probably get a reprint, right? And so there's context into all this. So yeah, I mean, hey, I get it. Dude, Japanese market now, like when you can get these boxes and they're 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, makes sense. I get it. Just because it's not for me. I mean, guys, here's the other argument to that. Everyone's like, well, Alex, why don't you buy it then? I don't know. Why don't I buy Sorcery? Why don't I buy Lorcana? Why don't I go invest in stocks? Like, there's a million things you could be investing in. Just because me personally, I'm not making a certain play that other people are making, doesn't mean that I don't think it's a good play or I hate on it. You can only do so much. I'm not a billionaire. I can't buy everything. And so I buy things that I believe in, more or in different time frames, or I'm doing different things with my money. Like, just because I'm not buying something does not mean I hate it, guys. That's all there is to this. Appreciate it, Ethan. Thanks, man. If it is all manipulation, where are all the cars that got bought out? Wouldn't people take profits at some point? Yeah, that's what I've been saying, dude. Exactly, Sir Manda. Like, where are all the profit guys at? Can you tell us some SV cards that you think are currently underpriced? I mean, I agree with what you said about SV, but just can't find the opportunities. Walter, I don't know when you found my channel, man, but I've been doing that for the past couple months. Let me see if I can pull up my channel real quick on this. Again, this is why I love live streams. I can just do this manually. I don't have to just talk about it, right? I can actually prove it. Prove the stuff I say isn't a lie. All right, let's go to my channel. Or, this is the back end. I don't know if I should be showing you all that. Hold on. Let me see if I can find some of these. Let me go to my regular view of my channel. The view you guys all see. But yeah, I mean, so I don't know when you found my channel, but I have been. I've been shouting it from the rooftops, trying to tell people plays on Scarlet and Violet for a while now. So let's see if I can find some of the videos. They were a while back, right? They were a while back. Let's see if I can find these. So this could have been one of the videos. We can look at that. That could have been one of them. Right here was one. So here. I won't even show this other video. This was one of the main videos. This was a month ago. So a month ago, I made this video and I called out a lot of that stuff, right? Where I was, you know, and again, a lot of the plays have dried up, right? A lot of the obvious ones. So this was a video a month ago where I was just talking about a lot of these Scarlet Violet SIRs that were really undervalued. A lot of the Paldea SIRs, like the Chien Pao, like the Chi Yu, like a lot of these cards that were undervalued. Obviously, the Tyranitar, the Wo Chi. So I was like the Wo Chien, the Skeldridge, the Meowscarada. Some of those might still be a good play. Obviously, the Ninetales. What else did we go into? I went into a lot of the Paradox Rift cards, you know, Iron Valiant, things like that. So a lot of the cards were shouted out in this video, and I had other videos like this. So I do make videos like that on the channel, and I've said in other live streams too, I've had in the past, where I said, you know, people have asked me what I'm doing. I was picking up a lot of those $30, $40, $50 slabs in Scarlet and Violet. Let me see if I can like maybe find some of my recent purchase. And guys, I wasn't even grading. I wasn't even taking the time to grade them myself. I was just buying them. I just bought them. Is this gonna dox people? I don't know, man. Like, I don't even understand the whole dox thing. Like, you put your information out there if someone purchases from you anyway. So I don't even know. I mean, just sharing who I bought it from and what price, I don't think that's a big deal. It's not showing anything else. You guys can see this stuff, I think. I don't know. I'm not going to show them. But any of those kind of cards, like, you know, I was telling people I was buying tons of SIRs. Like, any SIR that I could find under $30, $40, $50 in a PSA 10, I was just gobbling up. I think that's crazy undervalued. I think any of the top hits in sets, I don't care what they are. You know, I mean, maybe if it's not like a crazy, stupid Pokemon that no one cares about, but like, I was buying up all the starters, like the Meowscarada, the Skeldridge, the Quaquaval. I was buying up the legendaries, the Ting Lu, the Wo Chien, the Chien Pao, and the Chi Yu. I was buying up all those. I was buying up like the Miraidon, the Cryodan, the Gardevoir, Miriams, like all that stuff, right? A lot of those Paradox cards, like any of those SIRs and some of the IRs that you can find in the 30s, 40s, 50s in a PSA 10, that sounded ridiculously underpriced to me. Now, a lot of those cards are now double in price. So it's hard for me to say there's still buys, like, because I don't want to tell people to buy in after a run up, because I'm not trying to manipulate my own positions. But yeah, I mean, there's still valid. There's still going to be plays out there. Just wait till some of these Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade cards come down from their highs, you know, after like 3, 4, 5 months after release. A lot of those will probably be a buy, because that's kind of how this market goes. Things pump up at pre-release release. They die off in the months to come. They usually find a bottom and stagnate. That's when you want to buy. Then a lot of them that are good, they usually have a resurgence, right? And so don't buy into pumps. Buy when things stagnate and they fall. That's my advice to you. I'm not saying all the plays are gone. Are you saying these rapid increases are driven by investors looking for plays, not real collectors? I mean, it's both, right? Like, investors look for plays, and then when things start to move up, collectors start to buy those cards because they're afraid of missing out, that fear of missing out. And it just kind of creates a self-fulfilling prophecy for the investors, because it pushes the cards higher, reduces the supply more and more. And then it usually, even when things come down, they set higher lows, right? They don't come all the way down. So if a $20 card gets pumped to 50, 60 bucks, usually it settles back in the 30s and 40s, right? It never falls all the way back down to 20 usually. And because the collectors all want to be in. So it's a little of both. I can't say it's all just collectors wanting the cards. There's definitely investors making plays, but the collectors definitely play into it as well, I think. Masses move markets, guys. It's not just a few people that do it. The masses move markets. So he also said our Sword and Shield play is gone. So here's the thing, guys. Nothing's ever gone. It's just gone for certain periods of time. It'd be like saying when Latias Latios went to 2600 in PSA 10, that play is gone. it was gone for the moment, right? When things fall and they stabilize at a new price point, like where it did in the 1600, there was another play there, right? And now it's back in the 2000s, you made money. Same thing with like the reprints, right? So things aren't ever gone. They're just like not as good a plays for the moment, right? And so Sword and Shield cards, they reached all-time highs, right? They saw 100% plus pumps. Now they're starting to stagnate and come down a little bit. Yeah, I would say that play's gone for right now. There's going to come a time when those cards fall 10, 20, maybe 30%. Maybe some of the big ones fall like more than 30%. But there will come a time where that bleeding stops, they stagnate, and there will be another play there, right? And so it's just, there's different times in the market. That's why things fluctuate. All right, guys, I really got to start catching up. I'm like 40 minutes behind in chat. I am going to miss some of your questions. I'm sorry. I'm not dodging you, I promise. Just keep leaving the comment and I'll get to it. Fernando's in the house. What's up, buddy? Thunderman, 270 viewers. Dang. Yeah, guys, I appreciate all you guys being here. Anyone finding the channel for the first time, you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. I do appreciate all the support and everyone being here middle of the day on a Monday. Thank you so much. Even though I think most of you are probably just at work and have this on in the background and aren't really listening to anything I'm saying. I appreciate you guys as well. It all helps. It all helps. Hot take. Most vintage cards and their art are boring and uninspired. All its value is the nostalgia for a small percentage of us old heads. That's why modern is in higher demand. Dude, what's funny is I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's just that is just an honest take, taking in everything going on in the market, taking in what we know now. I think it's a good take, man. It's true. It's very true. I mean, just look at like base set. It's literally just the Pokemon with some like, default background around. Are you really going to tell me that that base set card looks better than these alt arts? I mean, it's not even like, can you look at like the 151 Blastoise and not tell me that card is objectively like 100 times better than a base set Blastoise? Like, come on, guys. We're just fooling ourselves at that point. Look, I grew up with base set too, right? I'm 33 years old. I was like, whatever, 10 years old when I was collecting Pokemon cards and everything when I was young. I had all that stuff. It means a ton to me. I'm with you. But I'm not going to sit here and try to like pretend that base set artwork looks good or jungle and fossil artwork looks good. Like, I mean, Dragonite, right? Just Dragonite on a rainbow background sitting there. Come on, guys. Let's get real here. Let's get real. You put out a video a few months back talking about concerns around gains being tied to the original gen Pokemon. Seems we're finally starting to see some cards with non-OG. Yeah, we are. We're finally starting to see some love come to the other Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, which is awesome to see. Which I speculated would happen. That's why I bought those cards. I wish I would have went harder like I always do. Yeah, it's good to see that, if the newer Pokemon start to gain traction, that's going to be very strong for the hobby in general. It just gives more chase cards they can make in the future. It doesn't have to be all centered around Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 type stuff. I'm going from the perspective of people who didn't grow up with it. Anyone under 20 years old is going to prefer the crazy art of modern. Absolutely, dude. It's not even close. I mean, I think anyone who's not lying to themselves is going to admit that. Right here. I'm 36, grew up with first gen 151, prefer modern alts. 100%, same here. Look, I mean, maybe it's because I got a lot of it out of my system between 2015 to 2020. I was like all in on vintage, right? That's all I was basically collecting and investing in towards the end, like 2000, maybe 17, 18, 19, 20. I started to invest a lot more in modern. But before that, it was like all vintage. And even during that time, it was still mostly vintage. So maybe I just kind of owned everything and got everything and got a lot of it out of my system. And that's why I just don't really care to go back. But the modern, man, it does more for me than the vintage stuff does. And I'm not trying to pump it. I'm not trying to hate on vintage collectors or hate on vintage. It just doesn't do it for me anymore. I don't know. Like, I'm not one of those guys who's obsessed with like scarcity and pop reports and rarity. Like, if you're into that stuff, vintage is where you want to go. I'm just not obsessed with that kind of stuff. And I don't think a lot of people are either. Reposted. All right. Can you? Oh no, sorry. I already answered that one. I got to your question, Walter. Appreciate it, man. Pokey Annie's going back and forth about this with some people in the chat. I like it. I like it. I have a question. I don't know why Altars from Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield are pumping, but EX series Gold Stars, Level X's, and older cards are in the same prices. Prices shouldn't go up that way organically. Matthias, it's demand, dude. Look, I don't want to change anyone's mind, okay? I'm not here to change your mind on vintage, modern, all that stuff. What I do challenge anyone who's went down that rabbit hole and followed the vintage YouTubers and Instagram accounts and Discords, and who are in that like bubble, that niche space of everyone really high on vintage and constantly preaching the rarity and scarcity stuff and constantly preaching the fact that modern's overprinted and all that stuff. I just urge everyone, and even if you don't agree, you don't have to ever agree, but it's kind of like politics, right? Like, just listen to the other side, like give it a real listen, and just understand why modern is moving and those aren't, right? You cannot discount the amount of demand. Guys, Pokemon does millions of dollars in advertising to bring new people into the hobby, right? There's new people coming back in all the time for whatever reason, right? They're having kids. Something popped up on their YouTube or their social media. They wanted to go collect their old, whatever it may be, right? So the games, right? The anime, everything, it's all built to draw people back in to modern, right? And then people see the modern stuff, and it's pretty easy to see that stuff's way cooler than the vintage stuff. Also, it's way more affordable. Also, there's way more opportunity. Like, you can obviously see there's more opportunity in buying a $20 modern top hit SIR than there is going back and trying to buy a $10,000 gold star and hope your money doubles, right? Like, anyone financially savvy at all can see that $10,000 would be better put to work in like a new modern booster box or a new modern SIR when it's, down, than one vintage, gold star that barely ever gets sold. And when it does, it's done at a private sale and no one even knows what the true market price is. And, and honestly, subjectively, this is just me, a lot of the gold stars, even though they're cool, they're nowhere near as cool as a lot of these modern cards. Like, these don't look as good. And so it really makes sense when you think about it from a different perspective. But I understand where you're coming from. Because look, I was a part of all those groups. I was a part of all those forums. I got in that rabbit hole in the SM Pratt, older, rarer, minter, better stuff. I was that guy. I get it. I get where you're coming from. But when you get so attached to that pop report and that rarity and people comparing it to other hobbies like comic books or sport, all this stuff, it detaches you from what's really happening, what's really going on in the hobby. And what's happening is you're seeing people our age shift to modern because it's so much better. There's more opportunity there. You're seeing the new generation, new kids jump into modern because that's where they're young and that's where they collect. You're seeing, you're just seeing people from all walks of the hobby get condensed into this modern stuff. Whereas it's very hard because there's no marketing. There's nothing pulling people back to vintage, and it's out of people's price ranges. And it's just, there's not as much opportunity there. And so really you're buying it just for you want to collect it, or you're just like a value investor that you just truly believe the value of these is just so freaking undervalued that you think you can 50, 100%, 100% plus your money in the same amount of time that you can do it here. A lot of the times it's just, you can't. You got to come to the terms with you can't. And I think that's pretty easy to see, to be honest with you. And I think anyone not seeing that is just lying to themselves. And this is a great point. Just because time passes doesn't mean things will go up. Rick from the Pawn Stars would always say that. Just because something's old doesn't mean it's going to be valuable. Just because something's old, just because, you guys, do you know what rare? I say this all the time. Do you know what rarity means? It's just talking about the amount of something in existence, right? So a 1-of-1 card could be the most rare card on the planet, right? It's the One Ring. But if it's a card nobody wants, it doesn't matter. It can be valueless, right? It could be 1 out of 100. There's only 100 population of this card, Alex. It's going to be worth a fortune. No one's going to be able to have it. Only I have them all. No one wants it. It doesn't matter. There could be 12,000 Umbreons, but millions of people want it, so it's valuable. That's all this is. That's all this is, guys. And I say this like, you know, trying to be as helpful as possible. I'm not trying to like change your mind. I'm not trying to like hate on you or vintage or anything. It's just, I'm trying to explain it. Sergio, I remember when there's only 60 to 70 viewers on these live streams. Man, I appreciate it. It is nice, man. It is cool. It's cool that, and you know what's cool too? What's better than the views, the viewers, the channel growing, subscribers, all that? You know what's the best part is? The best part about this is the fact that I've been doing this over 2 years, and I'm starting to have a lot of people, like, you know, a lot, maybe like a few people a week usually, reach out and they'll send me screenshots of their portfolio, their collection, right? And they'll show me all these gains they've had in the past couple years, right? And they'll say, Alex, started listening to you, you know, 2 years ago, year and a half ago, put your advice to work. This is how I've been doing. Thanks so much. That's what means more than anything else. Than any of the lives, the viewers, the subscriber growth, anything else, that means more to me than anything else, is seeing other people be successful doing the things that I'm just putting out there in the video that I've been successful with for the past 9 years in this hobby. I love it. I just love it. It's awesome. So awesome. And I'm so happy for everyone that's had a lot of, you know, success in this hobby so far. Even the Japanese market, even all you people investing in Japanese, Chinese, I don't care. I'm happy for everyone. Even vintage. You're so Pokepond. What's up, guys? Pokepond's got a channel if you guys want to check him out. You're so right about buyers wanting different things. So sold some Evolving Skies boxes and was surprised when the buyer said they were ripping them open. Oh my gosh. That one hurt. You know what, though? I love to hear it. I love to hear it, though. KC, you said you asked this question in terms of you, like in terms of me. I don't think so, but I'm one person. All right. I've said this before. What I say shouldn't mean anything, right? I'm just one guy. So I don't like it, but who knows? I think vintage had its time. I think a small portion of vintage, right? Like the most sought after Pokemon and the most sought after cards, like maybe 5% of vintage will probably do okay. But I think most of it won't. And I also think any modern right now is going to outperform it. I think you could throw a dart at a wheel and pick any Scarlet Violet booster box right now, and it's probably going to outperform any of those vintage boxes or cards in the next 1, 5, 10 years, percentage growth wise, right? And I think the disconnect sometimes is people always think, Alex, there's no way modern is going to be worth as much as vintage. No, I never said that. Right? But we can't go back and buy vintage at the beginning. All we can do is say, do I want to buy a base set booster box for 15 grand? Or do I want to put 15 grand into Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, Twilight Masquerade, all that stuff? Because I will put my bets every day on these boxes over that box every day of the week, right? Same thing goes for these Scarlet Violet SIRs right now. When I can buy these PSA 10s at 30, 40, 50, even $60, and I can say put 10 grand into those, I would rather have 10 grand in those cards right now, right? Than I would 10 grand in a Gold Star. And I would put my bets on it that those SIRs are going to outperform that Gold Star in the next 1 to 3 years, maybe 5 years, right? Now, there will become a time when those SIRs, a lot of those will, find their top, start to go stagnant, not see a lot of growth. At that point, I'll sell those. I'll move into the next item that has a better chance of growth, right? So you're constantly evolving, but I mean, I just don't see a lot of opportunity in things that have already had an intense growth phase and are at such high price points that it already shrinks the market to a certain amount of people that can even afford it. And then it shrinks it even more to people that actually want to afford it. And so I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Your average player, great. This is a great point as well. Like, you know, you got to think about the losses too. That's another reason. This is why didn't I say this? Your average player. Thanks, man. This is another reason why I don't like to invest in vintage, right? I don't want to put money into something where the risk is that high. And here's the thing. You can trick yourself into thinking that, oh, well, it was 20 grand. Now it's down to 10 grand. Surely it's not going to drop lower. It dropped 50%. It can drop all the way to zero. All this stuff could, right? It could easily drop to 5 grand, right? Whereas, again, PK, if you're watching, man, I want to make sure I want to make sure I'm saying this right. We've never seen modern boxes drop in 50% when you buy them at $80, $90, $100, right? Modern in terms of X, Y, and on. And so when you're looking at your risk tolerance and your risk levels, you have 100% track record of booster boxes gaining value over time, right? And you have 100% track record of modern boxes never dropping below 70s, okay? So when I'm putting money to work, we've seen tons of vintage cards and vintage boxes go up hundreds of percent, drop 50, 70%. We've seen that happen all the time. Tons of cards do it. So when I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, well, I could still lose thousands of dollars there. When I'm looking at modern boxes, I'm thinking, well, I can buy 10 grand at $85 a box or $90 a box, and I'm pretty safe there. My biggest hurdle is just waiting long enough for them to go out of print and reprints to stop coming and them to rise. I will take that investment 100 times over a vintage investment because it's far more risky. It's just too risky. And so really it's just for collectors at this point. I really don't think anyone should be investing in vintage. It's just my thought. You know, I can be wrong. I just don't think you should. Now, with that being said, if you're a collector, I also think there's some vintage cards that may never be as cheap as they are right now. So you could say, well, Alex, that means it's a good investment. Maybe, right? But like, let's say a card's $500. And I'm saying, you know what? That card may never be $500 again. That doesn't mean it's a good investment. It might mean like 5 years, it's $600 or $650. You say, well, Alex, I did good. Well, yeah, but it's not as good as all these other things you could put your money into in modern, right? So like, if you're a collector and you want that card for like your life, yeah, maybe it's a good time to buy it. But like, in terms of trying to compare it to a modern Pokemon investment, I think you're crazy. Lucky CG, thanks for joining, my man. I know nothing about the European market. I'm sorry. I can't even comment on that. I'm sorry. Oh, let's talk about One Piece. Guys, full transparency. I have sold out of all my One Piece investments. Paper hands, Alex, right? So I sold all my One Piece, every box I had, all of them. The only one I have left is the blue bottom. So I have One Piece blue bottom box left. Just kind of like, you know, collection piece / like moonshot investment piece, right? Maybe if One Piece does stand the test of time, it ends up being a first edition booster box type thing. Maybe it goes to 10 grand, right? I don't know. But, you know, I think Bandai is eventually going to do what Bandai does and get to the point where they hurt that game. And, you know, I saw the boxes kind of going stagnant. I kind of had that feeling that a lot of that luster is starting to, you know, come off. And I just thought that, you know, I was happy with the gains that I made and the plays that I made, and it was time to move on to something else. So, you know, we can laugh at me in a, you know, few years and see what happens. But, you know, I came to the conclusion that, you know what, I don't really know much about One Piece. I took the shot in the dark on that. It paid off very well. I mean, hundreds of %, and I took the profits. So that's where I'm at with One Piece. Sorry, guys. Sorry, One Piece investors. I'm not trying to talk. I hope you guys do well. I hope I'm wrong. I truly can say that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope all of you make a lot of money, and you know, and I missed out. I would not be upset. It was just the right move for me. Alex, do you have any tips for buying, negotiating card shows? Yeah, Jay, absolutely. So buying at card shows or in person, all right? First up, it's kind of like a car dealership. Never give all your cards. So if you guys don't know, if you go to a car dealership, never tell them you have a trade, okay? Never tell them you're going to trade in a car, even if you are. Negotiate the price of the car and then bring your trade in, negotiate the value of your trade separately so they can't try to, like, you know, bundle it together and hide the money here or there. Don't do that, right? Make sure you get every possible discount, the dealer cash, the customer cash, the, you know, whatever you can possibly get, negotiate that card down to bottom dollar until you're comfortable with the price, and then say, you know what? I actually think I want to trade my car in. Can you value that? And then, you know, understand what value you should get, you know the value of it. Obviously, a dealer is going to give you a little less. They got to make money. But I would always, same thing with Pokemon, right? Never tell them you're going to pay cash up front. And also never, you know, just never tell them how much you're going to buy, how much you want to buy. Like, just don't give them too much info, right? And so first thing I would say, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for sealed and slabs, you know, go find seals and slabs. If you're looking for singles, raw singles, do not look at booths usually from people who sell a bunch of slabs, because normally they're already going to be picked over and they're already going to be, you know, not gradable, right? So when you find those people, you know, talk with them, right? Strike up conversation, right? Get friendly with them, right? Show them some love. Show them some love, right? And you're always going to do better when you bundle. So, you know, even if they're, you know, maybe a little more expensive on some cards than other dealers were, or maybe a little more than market price, just take them out, bundle them together, get the bundle started, and then start negotiating. Say, hey, listen, this guy over here, that guy, you know, they have them a little cheaper in market price. I'd rather just buy them all from one person. What can you do for me, right? Negotiate down from there. Do whatever negotiating tactics you want to use, negotiate down, and then bring in the cash, right? Say, well, how about this, man? You know, that's that. Or, you know, don't even say cash. Say, well, what do you take? Do you take PayPal? What do you take? Venmo? What do you take? And they'll tell you. And then you take credit card, and they say credit card. Okay, great. Say credit card, right? Because Venmo, friends and family, Venmo, PayPal, they still got to maybe claim their money if they're trying to like get one over the government and not claim their cash. They still have to claim that money because it's on paper, right? With credit cards, though, they got to pay a fee. So always try to go to credit card first. They go, take credit card? Great. So I'll pay credit card. And then say, well, hey, I got cash. What about cash? So that's immediately, you know, they can already take 3% off because they got to pay a 3% credit card fee. So you already know they're going to get that. And then you know you could probably get even a little more because they don't got to claim it. It's not going to be on the books, right? So always do that, because always negotiate, make the deal, ask they're going to pay credit card, you know, make the deal with credit card, take the credit card away, throw the cash in. That's how you're going to get that best deal, man. So that's kind of my tactics for you can use. Oh, also, I picked this one up for my buddy. I'm not even going to tell you who. Always act like you don't even want the stuff, right? Like you don't even want it. That'll help too. Like, you know, have the bundle there. And then when they start, you know, negotiating down, be like, you know what, man? I didn't really want this stuff that much anyway. You know, it was here. I kind of like it, but I don't really want it that bad. I mean, I could pay for it, but I don't really want it that bad. Then you might start seeing them, you know what, man, I'm trying to get rid of it. How about I take 10% off? That's when you start, you know, you go for the throat. So, you know, again, not everything's going to work on everyone, but those are kind of some of the things you want to do, right? Hopefully that helps you. Yes, absolutely. Reprints can have better or worse quality. For absolutely, you know, it depends on how the printers are going to be, right? You don't know that. So yeah, you could see if say Paldea Evolved gets reprinted, there's a possibility we might get a bunch of mint Magikarps coming out of that, and they might be easier to hit. The hit rates might even change a little bit. Like they might put more Magikarps in that. And so there's that possibility for sure, where the print quality can be different. And I've even heard people say the hit rates are different. But the hit rates, I don't know. I don't know if it's more of a conspiracy or if it's, I kind of have seen differences. So I'm kind of on board with that, but 100% the quality can and will change. You just don't know if it's going to be better or worse. You don't know. I unboxed an alt art Garatina V186. Should I sell it or keep it? You know, it just depends on what you're trying to do. You know, I mean, it has dropped a good amount. You know, I know the PSA 10, I think the Raw 2 has dropped a good amount. So at least you're, you know, it's already down a little bit. Could keep going down, but at least you're not at the tops anymore. If it was still at the tops, I'd say probably sell it. It could go either way, man. If you want to have it in your collection for a long time, good chance it'll hold up pretty well. Maybe even be more than it is now. But if you're looking like the best time to sell it, I mean, it's not a bad time to sell right now. I'm selling a lot of my alt arts. It's not a bad time to sell either. So it could go either way. Walter, I don't know if you missed it, man. I see you continuously posting this question. I answered this for you. I don't have any on top of my head, but I made multiple videos about the Paldea cards that I did see opportunities in, right? Sorry, Michael. So like I said, I pretty much I was buying any SIR, special illustration rare, that I could find under like $30, $40, $50. And obviously I was grading them myself too, grading the illustration rares, keeping those. You know, pretty much any of the big hits, right? Any of the starters, the legendaries, the big hits in the sets, the mid-range hits, like that's what I'd be looking for. Anything that seems undervalued to you. I don't have any specific ones on top of my head. Sorry, dude. Do you think rainbow rares could become popular in the future? The like legendary collection firework hollows. Fireworks hollows were pretty hated. That's true. A lot of people don't remember that. Those legendary collection reverse hollows were not liked, and now they're like the best thing ever, best reverse hollow ever, right? And so yeah, it's interesting. Rainbows. You know, I go back and forth. The only reason I would say no, okay, hear me out. So they are hard to hit. I'll give you that. And Sun and Moon, they were the top hits before tag teams. And Sword and Shield, they were the top hits before tag teams, right? The only reason I don't like them, right, is the gold cards, right? The gold cards are supposed to be the top hits, right? They're actually harder to hit than the other cards. But no one likes them. And the reason is they're just that base artwork slapped on a gold card. And that's the reason I don't necessarily like the rainbow arts, is because they just slap the same exact image on a full art, on a rainbow, and on a gold, and they just change the card, right? And so, I mean, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'll go ahead and pull it up to give you an idea. Let's see which one, like Lugia. Let's look at Lugia real quick. All right, so if we type in Lugia V-Star. All right, so look. You have the rainbow, you have the gold, and you have the regular. And it's all the exact same art. It's just a different card. And I don't think people like that as much. I think people like that distinct artwork. That's why the alt arts are so popular, the SRs are so popular. They like that in real life type artwork where the Pokemon are out and in scenes, and there's other Pokemon in the scene. And I just don't think people are about that like kind of stationary, just like copy paste big artwork on the card where nothing else is going on. It's just the Pokemon with like a default background. And so for that reason, I don't really think rainbows have the legs. But that's me. I could be wrong. That's my analysis of it though. No, Pooping Turtle, no, I didn't. I did not think Scarlet Violet cards would rise this fast. It seemed to be influenced somewhat by an alt art boom, but I expected them to rise maybe in 2024. Yeah, so my whole hypothesis, right? My whole speculation was people are going to need something to go for when the alt arts and the trainer galleries kind of, the luster wears off and people are done with that. And my whole speculation was they're going to go to Scarlet Violet. Like, I think they're going to go to XY too, because a lot of people are going to want those megas. And, you know, Sun and Moon, people are starting to pick up a lot of those alt arts that fell, so they feel like they're cheaper now. But I knew a lot of people were eventually going to come around to Scarlet and Violet. I didn't know when. And this is what I always say in this hobby is the luck factor comes into the timing, right? The timing is always luck. I don't think a lot of the plays are luck, right? I don't think I got lucky. I don't think I got lucky with alt arts. I don't think I got lucky with Scarlet Violet. I think I just got lucky with the timing happening so fast, right? Because it was pretty obvious that these cards were beautiful, that people were going to want them, but they were just too distracted with other things. They were distracted with the Brilliant Stars Lost Origin on Pokemon Center. They were distracted with the alt arts. They were distracted with the trainer galleries. They were too distracted to pay attention to Scarlet and Violet. And so your knee-jerk reaction was just to say, no, all that stuff sucks. It's stagnant. It's all too cheap. No one even wants it. It's the blah, you know? And I think it was just a matter of time. And so, yeah, lucky with the timing, not so lucky with the play, in my opinion. Stop. Bruce City says, Alice, what's your opinion on buyouts? Is there anything wrong with a buyout on a bunch of copies of a card that is 1 to 3 years old? This does move the price up, in my opinion, everyone has. No, I don't think so. Like, I think there's a problem when groups of people do it. That kind of gets to the whole cabal thing, right? If you go all cabal in with it, if you start going all cabal in the graveyard, where like groups of people get together and all pull their money and say, okay, we're all going to buy up this card. And then when it gets to this price point, we're all going to dump it on people and we're going to laugh about it. We're going to, you know, sip our champagne on our yachts and our Lambos. I don't like that. But like a single person saying, you know what, like I did, like exactly like I did. Like when I said, you know what, I think these legendary Pokemon are undervalued. I think this Chi-Yu and this Chien Pao and this Wo-Chien and this, you know, I think all those are undervalued. I think, you know, the Scarlet Violet, you know, Miraidon, Koraidon, Gardevoir, I think it's undervalued. Like, I think someone doing that and saying, I think these are undervalued, I want to buy 10, 20, 50 copies of it. It's the same as buying 1, 2, 3, 5 cases of a booster box. What's the difference? Like literally, there's no difference. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that side of it. I think it gets fuzzy, you know, it gets kind of a gray area with some things, but it's just opinions, right? There's no right or wrongs. It's just whatever anyone deems right or wrong. And I'm no one to give a real opinion on that. It's just everyone's gonna have their own opinion. I like that play. Pokemon Center right now, $143, selling on TCG Player for, let's see, Silver Tea, the old Silver Tea. All right, Silver Tempest, $159.99 plus $8 shipping. They're selling daily, guys. Multiple sales daily in the 170 range. Here's what is on the market for boxes. And so, yeah, I mean, when you can buy them on Pokemon Center for $143 and change plus tax, yeah, I think it's a pretty good pickup when you can literally flip it on the market and basically break even already. Like, that's the biggest hurdle in this hobby is when you buy into a product, you're basically already behind on it if you want to sell it online because you're going to eat shipping and fees. So when you can already be even on the item out of the gate, I think it's a great pickup. And Silver Tempest, I think it's got legs. I think it's a pretty strong set. I think it's a good pickup, man. I like Silver Tempest right now. On Pokemon Center. On 143. Hey, Pokey Profit. Appreciate the get to memberships, man. If you're still here, I know I'm a little behind. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Scotty V, holy ish. Just realized the volume of viewers. Alex has grown. He definitely deserves it. One of the most honest, transparent dudes in the Pokemon community, dude. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Pokemon sleep deals, dude. You are a knowledge of wealth. As long as have big money, you have crazy success with your strategies. I'm up 45,000 thanks to Alex. Guys. All right, where's the pin comment? I want to pin this comment. Dude, 45 grand. Love it, dude. Congratulations, man. That's what's up. I think I'm pretty much getting caught up. I'm just trying to. All right, here's a question. How to manage, strategize your scaling of investments. Seems if I want to make bigger margins scaling up and buying more booster boxes might be better than just one or two. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, here's the thing, man. Everyone's got different, levels of, how much money you have to invest, and also what your risk tolerance is, your time frames. Everyone's different, right? The way to level up in the hobby the fastest is going to be flipping, right? It's going to be buying out collections and making a margin. It's going to be buying raw mint singles that you can grade 10s and flipping the 10s. And those are the ways you're going to build money the fastest. The slow, steady approach is going to be the sealed investing, right? And yeah, I mean, you're going to have more volume to make more. It's just obviously the name of the game. Taking profits is going to be your best way to scale up your newer investments. Like, if you have the money to hold everything, that's great. But, if say you have some Evolving Skies right now, or you have some, Lost Origin, or you have some Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, and yeah, you want to hold it longer, but you could sell some and put that money, those profits into Scarlet Violet era. You can get larger positions than those because every box you sell of Fusion Strike, you can buy like 2.5 Scarlet Violet boxes, right? And so that's how you can kind of level up your total volume of inventory into the newer stuff. Yeah, it's just a hard, kind of teeter-totter to be on. It's like, how much risk do you want to take? How much money do you want to put into this hobby? How much can you afford? And guys, just remember, it's not a race. It's not a race, it's a marathon. And you're not competing. Just remember that you're not competing against anyone. You're competing against yourself. You're competing against where that money can be put elsewhere in your life, right? You're competing against real estate, your 401k or stocks. You're competing against other places you can invest that money. And as long as you're beating those, you won. You're not trying to beat anyone else what they're doing in their lives. So just keep that in mind. Follow the kids. They're the ones buying in 15 years. How do I become a Patreon or a member? A member, can't see an option on my phone. Is it now on the phone? If it's not on the phone, man, it's just under the video. Guys, the memberships, they're just fun. They're just like 99 cents. It's nothing crazy. You get some emojis to use. You get the little Pokeball next to your name. If you want to become a member, it's just right under the video. It says join. Nothing too crazy, guys. All right. It seems efficient and easy to buy 100 copies of a card and grade 20 to 30 of them, but moving that many of one slab takes time. Do you have a limit on how many of one card you grade? Yeah, honestly, I don't even grade that many at a time. I usually grade like 10 or less nowadays of a card. And I'll split them up into multiple submissions just because, again, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. I feel like a grader can get kind of tired after a while of grading the same card, and that I've experienced more 8s and 9s when I send in a bunch of one copy than when I do just a few. So that's just me. I know a lot of people have shared Japanese submissions, and usually Japanese can get like all 10s even you send in a 50 of a copy. I've just noticed with English cards, you don't get as many 10s when you send them all in at once. But again, could just be me. I don't have a hard opinion on that. Myself, I don't send that many copies in at once, but it's up to you. Did you see the alt art rise happening when it did? I guess the box is selling out at PC makes sense, but to me, it didn't seem obvious for singles till Umbreon started rising. Dude, you gonna make me do this? All right. I not only saw it coming, I tried to get you guys on board with me. I tried, okay? I really tried. So let's go back through my channel. I'll show you when I started buying alt arts, okay? I'll show you when I started buying alt arts. Where's the video? All right, right here. 6 months ago, okay? I put this video out. 6,000 of you saw it. So you guys saw it, right? What do you mean we see it coming? Yeah, we can see it coming. And basically what I did in this video, I went and showed you all the things I always say, right? I went and showed you these charts and said, guys, this is the time you want to buy. You want to buy when things are down like this, right? When you see when you see a chart look like this, where's that chart at? When you see a chart, come on. Yeah, when you see a chart look like that, that's when you buy, right? And I went through the whole video and showed those charts and those cards. And again, this was 6 months ago. How Pokemon investing now will make you huge money later. I mean, it couldn't get more obvious. I had all the alt arts going down and a big arrow saying, buy here. Buy here, right? And then I made another video talking about the population and people worried about the population. I tried to destroy that myth about the population problems around that same time. And then I made another follow-up video not too long ago. I'm trying to find that one if I could. It wasn't too long ago where I talked about buying the alt arts. Maybe it was a live. I'm not sure. But I made another video too where I talked about the alt arts like 4 months ago. And so I made 2 videos before any of this happened. And so, yeah, I think it was pretty easy to see. But you know, maybe for some people it wasn't. Like, you know, when you have the most popular era and the most popular cards in that era, and they were all at their 52-week lows and all the boxes were starting to rise, that's kind of a telltale sign it's time to start buying, right? Scotty, man, I don't have thoughts on EV Heroes. Sorry, dude. Yeah, I'm just not in the Japanese stuff. If Pokey still in the chat, he can answer that question for you, I'm sure. There's Scotty, found it. Appreciate it, dude. Thanks for joining the memberships. Guys, I think we had a pretty good stream today. I appreciate everyone showing up and hanging out this Monday afternoon. Hope you guys got something out of it. Hope it helps in your collecting, investing journey. Hope we have another good week. Market right now seems pretty stable. I'll make a video when I start making some bigger plays. Right now, guys, I've just been trying to pick up good singles to grade. You know, I've still been, you know, nibbling at the Scarlet Violet sets in terms of sealed. I'm making some sales right now, some of the alt art trainer gallery plays I had, but I'm not making any major moves right now. I'm starting to nibble on some XY megas, whether they be near mint or they be PSA 9s, 10s, whatever. But I just don't have, you know, I know people have been asking, I don't have a crate. I just don't see it, right? And look, so maybe other YouTubers out there are smarter than me. Maybe they're calling out some great plays right now. I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure I'm missing something. I have to be, right? Just off what I'm seeing right now, I don't see any like obvious plays to jump in right now. But they're definitely out there. So keep looking. You know, you guys can let me know all the stuff, all the plays that you guys had and I missed. That'd be even more fun. Congrats to everyone who's been seeing those gains, that $45,000 gain. Amazing. So happy for you guys. And anyone that wants to keep this conversation going, guys, the link to the Discord is in the description of this video. The Discord's free. You know, I have a Patreon that's paid for. There's a private Discord, but the regular Discord, 100% free. There's almost 1,000 members in there now talking Pokemon and investing, collecting, buy, sell, trade, all that stuff all day long. You guys can continue the convo in there. And I'll see you guys all back here in a new video soon. Appreciate it, y'all. I'm out.